Here's a few takedown tips that will change your career. Number one, you want to focus on the core skills of wrestling, right? So wrestling's very big. We want to focus it down. You know, we like to say 95% of your points come from 5% of the wrestling. Some of you say you don't like watching college wrestling because it's boring. Yet you'll watch golf for 12 hours. You'll watch football. Every football game looks the same. You'll watch baseball. All those games look the same too. So, you know, I think sometimes when people say that, they may not just actually be a wrestling fan, but that's a different conversation. But I will say that the college wrestling matches, for the most part, besides a few of the outliers, they look similar. That's by design. That's not by an accident. Okay, so you too should try to wrestle that way. So what happens is your wrestling needs to get a little bit smaller. You don't need to drill 13 ways to get out of a Russian 2-on-1. You don't even know how to head block and re-attack, and you don't have 4 core single leg finishes yet. So let's focus on 95% of your points come from 5% of the wrestling. We call that core skills. You want to focus there first. So number one, master the core skills of wrestling. And that's not just leg attacks. That can also be defense from a front headlock, you know, a down block position, or defense when someone gets to your legs. And secondary attacks, which is scoring without shooting, right? There's many ways to score without shooting. It might be, you know, a snap down, a slide by, these types of things. So once you have your core skills list, secondly, repetition is the mother of all skills. So you want to make sure you get a lot of repetition. You actually have to put more time in, okay? So, you know, twice a week for an hour. No distractions. Have your practice plan taped to the wall, and you get to work. A lot of us aren't good at takedowns because you really don't have a grasp on it. It'd be like me trying to hit a 95 mile an hour fastball. I can't do that. It was like me shooting from the 3-point line, even from the free throw. I can't shoot a layup. I don't deserve to have confidence on a basketball court because I haven't done the work. I don't deserve to be confident in a geometry class, right? I don't know geometry. I took it 30 years ago and I barely passed it, and I don't know it now. Some of us think that we have a right to have confidence in, like, just because we're in math, we're on the basketball court, we play wrestling, we play basketball. No, you don't deserve to be good at this. You don't deserve to have confidence. Like, my son doesn't have any confidence. I go, he has no right to have confidence. He hasn't earned it. That's a low skill. That's a good kid. He's a nice young man, but they don't know what the hell they're doing. So we have to be honest with ourselves, okay? But if you're someone who is putting in time, or you're ready to ramp it up, make sure that you're focusing on the core skills. You're not getting distracted. And secondly, you're putting in the reps. Third, once the reps happen, now you have to hit these techniques in live competition. So maybe a gymnast who has a balance beam routine that she has been doing, in wrestling, if we got to practice more than once a week in the off season, we talk about burnout. And these gymnasts are putting in 24 hours a week, all right? My niece is at Arizona State. So, you know, she's been doing this for her whole life. I know what real commitment is, okay? And so make sure that you have to be okay with practicing 3 days a week, okay? Not a 5-year-old. So you can hit me in the comment sections if you want about stealing kids' childhoods. We're not talking about 4-year-olds. We're not even talking about 8-year-olds. I'm not even talking about anybody. I don't care if you wrestle. I don't care if you join math club and start competing for the national math title. I don't care. I'm just giving advice for people who want to be great at wrestling. And here we are. What is it? April 2024. We just had our 38th wrestler in the past 2 years, 8 months commit to a Division I wrestling. Owen Uppinghouse is going to Mizzou. 38 Academy members have committed to Division I wrestling in under 3 years. So our Academy kids are winning, and that's why I'm here sharing this with you. So you do have to put the time in, okay? So now that gymnast who does her routine on the balance beam, guess what? she does the same thing in competition and she gets medals for it. Just imagine if someone was hitting her in the head and grabbing her wrists and faking and chopping her hands, tackling her legs, circling, beating her in the back of the head while she was doing her balance beam routine. Then gymnastics would be really, really, really hard. That's what you have to do. So you can drill your moves and your routines and you can become very skilled at it, but no one cares. Now you have to do it under duress in a combative setting. If the dude just stood there like this and let you hit your duck under, it would be easy, but he doesn't. She doesn't. So we have to learn to score in live wrestling. So a lot of live wrestling is required. 2 to 3 hours a week is what you should be doing if you're a high school or middle school wrestler who really wants to wrestle on a college level, okay? A lot of live wrestling and a lot of partners too. Now also, don't be afraid of the easy partners. When you have an easy partner, you can work your stuff. So I grab some easy partners and I work my stuff. Then I grab the partners I'm even with and I say, okay, within 3 weeks, I need to be beating, I want to be able to take, Jason down 5 times in a row. I got 3 weeks to do that. Me and Jason are even as partners. And I have a goal and an objective. I'm being very intentional. Within 3 weeks, I will take him down 5 times in a row. See, so now he's down here in the easy partner category. So I'm like, I'm working through this. Then I grab partners who can just absolutely beat the crap out of me, and I'm trying not to get my head ripped off. And I'm learning to survive, keep them off of my legs, maybe score on occasion on my own, smiling through it, don't get frustrated. It's gonna take 6 months, maybe a year. You're gonna get your head beat in. Just deal with it. There's no shortcut to this. And so that's the 3 partners that we have, and you rotate through these partners. So developing the feel and instincts of how to score in competition, you want to work your way up the ladder of partners. And I would say the 4th thing would be, don't ignore your athleticism, okay? You have to be an athlete. You need to be serious in the weight room. And not just, doing a high rep bodybuilder workout or some powerlifting program that the high school football coach gave you. We need to be doing plyometrics and kind of functional training, heavy sled pushes, sprinting with the sled, directional changing. Wrestling, the athleticism of a wrestler it's not linear like a track wrestler, right? I mean, the athleticism of a wrestler, it's just, you don't see it in other sports very much. Obviously a gymnast, right? A wide receiver, cornerback. I mean, what athletes they are. They're constantly changing directions, even level changing, jumping. I mean, that's a sport of complexity there from an athletic standpoint. And as a wrestler, you want to recognize the fact that you have to become a tremendous athlete. So start Google searching and learning some of the functional training programs. Obviously, we have a functional training gym specifically for combat sport athletes, but that's in St. Louis area. You probably don't live close, but so we're doing that. Right, because we know that developing the athleticism of a wrestler is something that's necessary. So you want to make sure that you have low body fat, high muscle mass, and that you are spending some time developing your athleticism, because ultimately that's going to go a very long way as well. So there's 4 tips to become a better wrestler on your feet and start becoming a takedown machine. So share this with 5 others, and we appreciate you following us. Subscribe, follow, comment. That way you'll see more of our stuff. We appreciate you following.